Welcome to the summer edition of Central Avenue. I'm Carol Montgomery.
And I'm Don Jacks. Summer's been a busy time for Rocky Flats. We'll bring you up to date on the latest issues.
We'll also show you the many programs sponsored by Employee Services and try to explain the subject of oversight. But first, a look at Rocky Flats water.
Clean water is indeed serious business at Rocky Flats. In our perspective story, we'll show you why.
When you open a faucet, what do you see? Well, if your plumbing is in order, you see water. It's colorless, tasteless, and odorless. How do you know if it's clean and safe? Most of us trust our municipal water treatment facilities to deliver clean water to our homes and communities. We drink, cook, garden, and wash with it. Human beings need water every day, clean and safe water. The Rocky Flats plant is a manufacturing community with water needs and uses similar to a small city. The plant obtains raw water from the Denver Water Board. That water is used in two ways: for day-to-day manufacturing or process systems, and for potable or non-process systems such as cooking, drinking, and sanitation. Processed water is contained, recycled, and totally used up, essentially never released to the outside environment. Non-processed or domestic water is kept separate throughout the entire system on plant site. Rocky Flats is responsible for the treatment and purification of the non-processed water that is released to users downstream. This responsibility includes the rain and other precipitation that falls on plant site and in the buffer zone and collects in the holding ponds. In recent months, the waters discharged by Rocky Flats have come under considerable scrutiny. The new Director of Environmental Restoration, Eric Everett, believes this is healthy.
Well, the public is entitled to know that their drinking water supply is safe. And I'm here to tell you that it is. The water that we discharge from Rocky Flats plant is absolutely safe, and the Department of Health and the municipalities downstream agree and acknowledge that fact.
Both the quality of the water delivered to your home and the water that leaves the Rocky Flats plant are overseen by two public agencies, the Environmental Protection Agency and the Colorado Department of Health. The Environmental Protection Agency issues Rocky Flats a permit called the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, which oversees specific aspects of the discharged waters.
We need to look at long-term exposures and also short-term exposures, and that requires some very low concentrations of pollutants in some cases, and for some of them the desirable goal is none, below what we can measure to, which complicates things considerably.
The Colorado Department of Health also oversees Rocky Flats water through the Colorado Water Quality Control Commission,
which is the policy-setting body that adopts water quality classifications and standards for surface and underground water throughout the state, that essentially sets the goals that we would like to have our water quality achieve.
And Rocky Flats water must achieve standards so tough that it's difficult to monitor the water effectively. Keith Motiel of Rocky Flats Environmental Restoration explains.
From a technical standpoint, the water quality standards that have been posed on Rocky Flats are rather extraordinary in that the technology to treat them is not yet available for specific contaminants. Indeed, it is very difficult to even detect contaminants at these levels.
The Rocky Flats Program Unit of the Colorado Department of Health also oversees the monitoring and analysis of the water at Rocky Flats. Central Avenue spoke with Judy Brooke.
We sample the water at varying frequencies from weekly to quarterly, depending on the location and the type of water that we're sampling. And we sample a variety of parameters, including inorganics such as metals, organics such as some of the solvents that are used at the plant site, herbicides and pesticides, and radionuclides.
These contaminants are typically on the level of parts per billion or less, and therefore required sophisticated technologies in order to just detect them. The analysis time for these contaminants can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to receive analyses. We feel it's important that we provide a thorough analysis of the water in order that we can assure quality in any discharges.
The water that leaves Rocky Flats has chemical standards that are more stringent than are imposed for tap water. However, the water leaving Rocky Flats is not chlorinated, so it's not acceptable for drinking yet. It hasn't been through a municipal water treatment system.
We're held to a tighter, stricter standard than anyone else in the state. We understand that. We're dealing with that. We're not proposing to change that. But the public should understand for their own confidence that in fact we are held to a stricter standard than anyone else.
Our research indicates that the standards that we have to meet in our discharges are the toughest in the world.
On the mountain desert that is home to metropolitan Denver, water has never been taken lightly. Under the guidance of the Clean Water Act, Rocky Flats employees, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Colorado Department of Health all work together to assure that the water we have remains clean and safe. For Central Avenue, this is Linda Otto.
The news is next on Central Avenue, right after this brief message from Larry and Vince.
Hey, nice try, dummies.
Take a hike, Thurston. He's no crash dummy, not a scratch on him.
Thurston's my hero.
Why is that, my little battered buddy?
Because he gets to wear the safety belt.
No wonder he's still got his original paint job.
You can't hate a dummy for being smart.
I guess so.
Here he comes.
Hey, keep up the good work, guys.
Buckle it up, Thurston.
I always do.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Arrive alive. Drive safely.
The task of restarting plutonium operations at Rocky Flats is continuing at a steady pace. But for the layperson, the complicated business of resumption is difficult to comprehend. We asked Dave Van Leuven, Associate General Manager of Defense Production, what it all means.
What it all means, the primary thrust of the resumption effort is to make sure that we can operate this facility safely and within the guidelines and requirements in our safety documentation.
One vital step in the resumption process is the removal of plutonium from exhaust ductwork. This is accomplished through a vacuum system placed inside the glove box line. Operators guide the system through the ductwork using a remote television camera attached to the vacuum hose.
Right now we're focusing our efforts on building 707. I've removed a good portion of plutonium out of the module A ductwork, roughly half of the plutonium in that duct we've been able to remove. And we're in there right now removing more.
Many employees have expressed concern that plutonium operations may never resume at the plant. According to Van Leuven, these concerns are completely unfounded.
That's absolutely not true. The resumption is going to happen. It's a matter of time. And I think we're very close to having those issues resolved that must be resolved for resumption. This facility is absolutely necessary to the DOE complex, and when we're ready to operate it, it will operate, not before.
On July 26, the Department of Energy and EG&G announced that Wackenhut Services Incorporated would assume management responsibility for security forces at Rocky Flats. According to Bob Nelson, manager of DOE's Rocky Flats office, the decision followed the Albuquerque survey, which revealed problems in several areas of plant security.
We're short of people, we're short of cleared people, we're short of procedures, we're short of documentation of things that security forces usually document very well. It's not a matter of saying the Guard Force has done bad. It's a matter of saying we need to very rapidly get to a situation where there's a greater formality and greater use of procedures and documentation.
All hourly and salaried employees with protective services will be offered the opportunity to join Wackenhut at comparable pay and benefits. Wackenhut assumed responsibility for plant security on August 1st.
The Defense Nuclear Facilities Panel, part of the U.S. House of Representatives Armed Services Committee, rejected a $65 million request to begin design of the Plutonium Recovery Modification Project, or PRMP. which would allow the plant to make improvements to Building 371. The move was similar to a Senate Armed Services Committee vote on July 13th.
We'll be back with more news after this quick tour of Building 881.
Building 881 was built in the early 1950s and served as a production and processing building for enriched uranium weapons components. In 1968, the building was converted to stainless steel production and served in this capacity until 1983, when stainless steel work was transferred to Building 460. Today, Building 881 is a multi-purpose facility housing the analytical laboratories, the central computing facility, record storage, maintenance facilities for the entire 800 complex, and recovery technology. More than 350 employees work in Building 881, which continues to play a vital role in the mission of Rocky Flats.
The future has arrived at Rocky Flats in the form of an automated machining cell located in Building 460. This unique combination of advanced computer technology and robotics may be the wave of the future for production operations involving hazardous materials. Pete Swenson is the principal development engineer.
This piece of equipment is not only a machine tool, it's a complete machining cell. It has the ability to make a broad range of part types from the raw material stage to a finished part in one continuous operation. It handles its own parts, it does all of its own setups, and it completely, in an automated fashion, changes its own tools, monitors its own tools, prints out its own quality reports, and all of the other peripheral activities that go on around machining.
An unclassified part was designed to test the machine's ability to perform typical operations. The results were nothing short of phenomenal.
Based on the unclassified test part that we developed for this machine, production time is cut about 80 to 90%. Or to put that another way, a part that used to take 10 to 12 days to move through the shop now takes about 2 to 3 hours.
Ultimately, variations of the model in Building 460 may be used in beryllium and plutonium operations to increase worker safety. For this reason, Swenson feels the cost of $2.4 million per machine is justified.
I think it is. It gives us not only a unique production capability, but it also gives us a unique development capability. We are attempting to develop automated machining systems for use in our beryllium and plutonium areas in order to isolate operators further from hazardous and radioactive materials.
And now, a quick review of other issues in the news at Rocky Flats.
Anti-nuclear demonstrators staged a protest at Rocky Flats to commemorate the anniversary of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. More than 25 demonstrators were arrested for trespassing or attempting to block access to the plant. A new salaried vacation policy took effect on August 6th. The program gives employees greater access to their vacation time and increases the amount of time immediately available to new workers. The amount of vacation time earned remains the same. The Department of Energy has issued a finding of no significant impact for the plant's supercompactor in Building 776. This clears the way for final construction of the device, which will help reduce the volume of transuranic waste stored at the plant. The supercompactor is expected to be operational in early 1991.
The summer edition of Central Avenue continues with our focus story.
Rocky Flats gets its fair share of scrutiny from the public, the media, and also from oversight groups who monitor and review plant operations. In our focus story, we'll explain this complicated but crucial issue.
You've heard it said that Rocky Flats is a case of the fox guarding the henhouse. In reality, Rocky Flats is under intense scrutiny from easily 50 separate groups. Rocky Flats plant is under the microscope from many sources, including internal company oversight, public interest groups, and federal, state, and local agencies.
One of the commitments we have made in our mission and value statement is to tell it like it is. The outside overview committees and other agencies help us to provide that focus.
We're responsible by law
to assure that the health and safety, if you will, of the public is being guarded, is being protected, specifically that there is no unreasonable risk to the public in the operation of any nuclear defense facility. If we believe the recommendations we are making are not adequately addressed, or we believe there constitutes some safety factor that the Secretary of Energy and his department are not reacting properly to, then we have the authority to make that information immediately available to the President of the United States for his determination. We also are required to make periodic reports to the Congress of the United States.
The Advisory Committee on Nuclear Facility Safety, chaired by John Ahern, is intimately involved with many of our activities here on site at Rocky Flats. And they were appointed by the Secretary of Energy to advise him in an oversight role.
Overall responsibility for Rocky Flats belongs to the U.S. Department of Energy.
Recent examples would be the Scientech study on criticality issues. Another one would be the oversight that was performed by the Albuquerque office in safeguards and security. And we have an upcoming one that is called the Operational Readiness Review that will precede our resumption of operations. In addition to that, the field office maintains full-time coverage by their own employees in all of the production facilities.
Other alphabet soup regulatory agencies, like the Department of Labor and the Environmental Protection Agency, also oversee other areas of plant operation. From Congress comes a stream of oversight.
The two key committees that influence oversight and influence our behavior here are the House and Senate Armed Forces Committees. And of course, the end point of all end points is that Congress also controls the purse strings.
The Colorado Department of Health evaluates operations that may affect areas outside plant boundaries. This includes monitoring for nuclide or other toxic material release. CDH meets with Rocky Flats monthly at the state exchange meetings to review health and environmental issues.
The government exercises oversight on our activities out here through two means. First of these is the governor's science panel, and the second one is the Environmental Monitoring Council. In addition, Rocky Flats, because we live in a much smaller community, must also respond to local agencies and the county agencies and the Water Control Board. There are a number of public interest groups that influence how we do our business. Some of the more prominent groups we deal with would be the Environmental Defense Fund, Greenpeace, the Sierra Club. And in response to them and to others is that to date this year we have had 17 public meetings. And it's sometimes seen by many of us to be unfair and to always be constantly center stage and to devote the time that it takes to respond to these public issues or public concerns. And yet it all is part of our business of forcing us to deal with the truth, and that gets us right back to our mission and value statement.
Oversight is a constant reality at Rocky Flats. While it may seem cumbersome, it is a necessary part of doing business. Perhaps if more people understood the magnitude and the intensity of that oversight, unwarranted fears of plant safety to workers, the environment, and surrounding communities would be greatly lessened. For Central Avenue, this is Tracy Smith.
We'll be back with our feature story after this salute to the Rocky Flats Foundation.
A devastating tornado ripped through the town of Lyman, Colorado earlier this year, leaving many residents homeless and desperately in need of assistance. Rocky Flats employees demonstrated their generosity by providing much-needed financial aid to the storm's victims through the Rocky Flats Foundation. A donation of $10,000 was quickly approved and delivered to the Pikes Peak United Way for Lyman families needing emergency funds. Central Avenue salutes the Rocky Flats employees whose kindness will help Lyman families survive the difficult process of rebuilding their lives.
There's one group on plant site who really does have something for everyone. In our feature story, we'll profile employee services.
You may not know it, but there's an organization at Rocky Flats whose sole purpose is to make employees and their families a little bit happier. They organize van pools and ride sharing, sponsor health, recreation, and fitness activities. They even support a retiree organization and operate 2 company stores. Who are these wonderful people? Employee Services. The main offices for Employee Services are located here in trailer T112A, which is also home to the original employee store. Mary Singer is the administrator for Employee Services.
Primarily, the Employee Services Department is responsible for our company rideshare program, which includes both carpooling and van pooling services, our recreation program, our health and fitness program, and also 2 employee stores, as well as a retiree organization.
The employee store has been open since 1985 and continues to be popular. Today there are 2 locations, one here and one in Building 60. Inside, employees can purchase everything from company promotional items to clothing to toys for the kids. Additionally, through the Coloradans, employees can purchase discount tickets for a variety of local activities.
The Coloradans consists of 4 employee volunteers who plan a lot of family activities for our employees to participate in, whether it be outings to the Denver Nuggets games, activities at Waterworld, Elitch Gardens, or our company fun day. We do want employees to know that these programs are available for their families as well.
Employee Services ride-sharing program is a true success story. The van pool currently leases 51 vans, which service more than 700 employees. It's the largest program of its kind in the state of Colorado. Carpooling has also grown at Rocky Flats and now includes more than 800 employees. Employee Services also sponsors the Homesteaders, a social organization for retired Rocky Flats workers.
The retirees, when they retire from the company, are automatically become a member and are given information on the program. Employees who are 55 years of age and have at least 18 years of service with the company can also become a member prior to their retirement. And the way they do this is by contacting the Employee Services Department and obtaining all the information on that.
Employee Services health, recreation, and fitness programs offer some of the greatest benefits to employees. They offer something for everyone through a variety of clubs, classes, sporting events, and fitness opportunities.
Our recreation program consists of a wide variety of social, leisure, and cultural activities for all plant employees to get involved in, whether it be sports activities, health and fitness activities, whatever the case may be. Our point to employees is that, again, we would like to see them live healthy, fit lifestyles through those programs.
All employees owe it to themselves to visit the Wellness Center here in Building 60. Inside, you'll find a well-equipped exercise room, complete with the latest in workout equipment. According to Kathy Zentz with Employee Services, using the center is easy.
They need to fill out a health and fitness assessment form and go through an orientation if they want to use a facility. We just set up appointments for that, and Julie does the orientation and basically show up for class and get started.
The Wellness Center also offers jazzercise and aerobics, as well as classes in a variety of health-related areas.
I look for classes that are inexpensive in the areas of fitness and nutrition, back care, weight management, stress classes, smoking cessation, things that will help make our employees well and healthy and that will bring them benefit to their life.
Additionally, Employee Services sponsors sporting events for plant employees. This includes subsidizing local employees' softball, golf, football, and basketball teams, and holding tournaments for interplant competition. Julie Westland coordinates these recreational activities for Employee Services.
We have 2 interplant golf tournaments. We have a basketball tournament in the fall. We have 2 softball tournaments, a men's competitive and rec, and then a co-ed division after that.
Now, if all this isn't enough, Employee Services also sponsor more than 20 clubs that span a wide range of employee interests.
Some of the clubs include our photo club, our Toastmasters club, we have a working parents committee, and we also have a variety of sports clubs such as basketball, bowling, soccer, tennis, racquetball, just to name a few.
All EG&G and Department of Energy employees are eligible to participate in these programs. Additionally, spouses can participate in many classes and co-ed sporting activities. The entire family can take advantage of the many discounts for local entertainment events and dining.
There's a reoccurring theme or message that we want to get across to employees, and that's that we care about them.
If you'd like to know more about employee services and the many programs they offer, contact Mary Singer at 966-2199. For Central Avenue, this is Linda Otto.
Central Avenue would now like to present a message to all employees and their families from Phil Warner, General Manager of the Rocky Flats plant.
One of our values says that we encourage self-assessment and a questioning attitude. This attitude applies to safety on the job, as well as questions about policies, practices, and procedures. Now, you've certainly taken me up on questioning our policies and practices. I get lots of direct questions, and you certainly are really using this direct line. All of last year, there were 64 questions or concerns expressed to direct line. So far this year, we've had 427. Keep it up. The phone number's 5555. A more formal way to conduct self-assessment has been used during resumption. Our review of the facilities have surfaced about 2,000 safety-related work orders we feel we need to complete prior to resumption. Now, back in February, we thought we had just slightly over 100. I know it's taken a lot more time, but we're going to do it right. We've also been conducting our own OSHA-type reviews of the facilities, so we can surface safety concerns. This way we can fix them without waiting for outside auditors to come in. A significant opportunity for self-assessment occurs at the critiques. Now, I know we were having an awful lot of critiques, as I think 291 since February, and that they do take up a lot of time. But this is a perfect opportunity to ask questions and get at the root causes of problems so we can fix them once and for all. An open, questioning attitude at critiques is very helpful. Now, I've said we can do better, and we are. And through continuous self-assessment, we will continuously improve. Thanks for your time.
That wraps up the summer edition of Central Avenue. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to fill out your response cards and return them to Employee Communications through the plant mail. The staff really does read them, and we're trying to use your ideas to improve the program.
That's right. In fact, one suggestion we're working on right now is mailing only one copy of the show to each address, since many families have more than one person working at the plant. Our new mailing list should be ready for the fall edition.
See you next time.
Goodbye.